With me now is the Shadow Minister for Public Health, Andrew Gwynne. Good to talk to you, Mr Gwynne. Are you going to be doing any volunteering today?
I am actually. Straight after this, I'm going down into the Tame Valley in Denton with the Friends of the Tame Valley, and we're doing a big litter pick in our country park, and I'm looking forward to it, even though it's drizzling.
Oh, well, hopefully the sun will shine. What did you feel about the weekend? You were at the coronation. Did you feel it was an example of everything that's best about Britain, or was it a colossal waste of money?
Oh, I loved it. And anything that brings people together, makes us feel good, makes us happy, is great. I watched the coronation concert on the TV last night, and that was fantastic. But what a privilege and an honour it was to be one of just a very small number of Labour MPs that were successful in the ballot to actually physically be in the Abbey for that historic moment. It's something that I will cherish for the rest of my life.
What about what was going on outside the Abbey? There was, of course, quite a number of people arrested not far from the Abbey. What did you think of the reports of the policing? Did you feel it was proportionate? Because Labour's Sadiq Khan has questions, certainly.
I mean, obviously, I can't comment on specific incidents because I don't know the circumstances behind that. And I would hope that the police use their powers appropriately. Time will tell there. Look, I voted against the Public Order Act. I thought it was disproportionate in terms of the powers it gives to authority. People have a right to express a different view, a different opinion, and they also have the right to offend as well. I actually think the thousands of people that crowded the streets of London would have drowned out any protests anyway, because people were there to celebrate a historic event for our country that brought most people together in celebration, waving flags, cheering, being happy. That would have been the appropriate response to drown out those that wanted to protest, rather than maybe heavy-handed tactics that some are suggesting may have taken place.
You voted against the Public Order Act. Do you think Labour should then repeal the legislation if Labour get into power?
Well, I think we have to look very closely at this legislation, because it's not just about the right to protest. It's also got fundamental issues with the right to strike as well that we need to take a very clear look at. So I think that the next Labour government will look very carefully at this piece of legislation.
But looking carefully at it doesn't mean anything, does it? It doesn't mean you're going to reverse it.
Well, we need to see how it's working, and if it's not working in the way that the government says it's intended to work, then that's something that needs addressing. But obviously, what happened over the coronation weekend, the police will investigate and no doubt report back to the Mayor of London.
On to GPs, you're the Shadow Minister for Public Health. The Conservatives making a big announcement today about improvements for GP surgeries in England, money to help with the nuts and bolts of answering systems, with people on receptions, trying to stop that 8 a.m. scramble for appointments. Do you welcome these plans?
Well, insofar as they go, yes, but the way the government's announced it is that this is going to be a revolutionary transformation of primary care services. And yet there's absolutely nothing in this announcement that will train more doctors, that will enable patients to choose a face-to-face appointment, or that will bring back the family doctor. It's a very shallow offer. Yes, we can make improvements to technology. We can upskill the receptionists to be able to triage more appropriately, but fundamentally we need a proper transformation of primary care, utilising far better the community pharmacies, allowing pharmacists to be able to prescribe a lot more treatments without you going to see a doctor, being able to perform certain consultations and certain tests that they aren't able to do. That would be truly transformational, alongside the long-term change that is really needed, and that is to train more doctors. And we are committed, and we've said to the government, pinch our ideas, we are committed to training 7,500 new GPs, and that would be paid for by abolishing the non-dom tax status. We've been very clear and upfront that unless you increase the number of GPs, these issues are just sticking plasters.
Just one final thought before you leave us on the local elections. Obviously, a good set of results for Labour, but some would say, it should have been a great deal better. The Conservatives not in a great position at the moment. It seems like half the country is almost on strike. The economy's had huge issues over the last 6 months. How do you feel about the fact that if you extrapolate these results out, one analyst say you're up just 5 points from 2019, not much up from 2022. Shouldn't Labour have done a great deal better than they did at these local elections?
Well, actually, on the national equivalent vote share, we would have had a 10.5% swing compared to the 2019 general election.
Yeah, but you need 11, don't you? To get a majority
that is a
of one.
phenomenal starting point, and certainly in many of the battleground seats that also, when transposed over the electoral map, equate to marginal seats we have to win to form a Labour government. The swing was even bigger. So I'm very optimistic. Look, it's not job done. It's not job done until the day after the next general election. But the fact that we are now talking positively about the prospect of a Labour government at the next election, when only 2 years ago we faced one of our worst defeats ever, I think is a testament to how Keir Starmer has moved the Labour Party in the voters' perceptions, has brought us back into the game. And, we are, all things being fair and proportionate, we are now in the race for the next general election, and that commentators like yourself are very seriously talking up the prospects that Labour is on the verge of government. That's down to Keir Starmer. It's down to the work he's put in so far, and now we've got to put flesh on the bones with policies, building on those missions that Keir has already announced, so that at the next general election there is a very clear offer from the Labour Party that the country can get the change that they are so desperately crying out for.
OK, Andrew Gwynne for Labour, unsurprisingly. Thanks very much.
Thank you.